everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with Mixed Media Frenzy. And before I get started on my layout, I wanted to tell you that this week's Mixed Media Frenzy begins our month-long contest. The grand prize being a $50 gift certificate to scrapbook.com. And how you enter is to comment and subscribe to all 6 of the channels of the scrappy ladies who get into a frenzy every week for you to watch. And that gives you 6 chances. And at the end of the month, everybody who, if you're already a subscriber to my channel, for example, comment that you're already a subscriber and say something that you like about either the series or my layout. And I'll put your name in a hopper to be drawn. So I'll have one person drawn from my subscribers, and then each of the other ladies will have theirs, and then Krista Ferrato will draw from all of our winners the grand prize winner. So I'm hoping that I can offer, it kind of depends. I'm hoping that I can offer a prize for everyone who subscribes to my channel. It kind of depends. I know you're all over the world. If you're in the U.S., I can send you an RAK, a little random prize picked from my stash. If you're overseas and the postage would be bad, I'll try to find some way to either get you a cash prize through a PayPal account or something like a gift certificate to some place that you can order online where the postage isn't so bad for you. So here we go with the layout. All of those details should be in my description box, and the links to all the other ladies who are doing this layout today will also be in my description box, and the details will be there and everywhere we post it. So as we iron out the details of the contest through the month, so if you enter and comment and subscribe to all 6 channels this week, next week, the week after, and so forth, you increase your chances. Okay, here we go. This is our inspiration sketch / layout. It's a very, I looked at this one for a very long time before figuring out how I would do it and what I kind of thought about the photos and so forth. And I have been doing a lot of layouts from the Fiji part of our South Pacific cruise because I had done a lot of layouts in the past with the beautiful pictures that I took on the island of Tonga, which was kind of a last-minute substitution. That's a story unto itself. But what I hadn't done, this texture in the mixed media part of this kind of reminded me of a photo I took of the peeled paint on the floor of the boat that took us from the mainland in Tonga to the Fafa island where we spent the day. And I'm going to try to carefully bring this over because I've got Nuvo drops on it. This is going to be I have already made, in other words, my photo cluster, which is where all my embellishments are and my journaling. And this photo that's the background there is that photo of the peeled paint on the bottom of the boat. And then this is the sail of that boat as it's approaching the island. And that's the island in the distance there. So I love these pictures and I've never scrapped them before. I may have used this one as a background for something, but I've never scrapped that one. So I'll put that aside and hopefully the Nuvo drops will dry while I'm doing the rest of this. So in looking at this, the red that's there and this kind of aqua circle, and I will say this, I fully well understand that the color schemes, especially in sketches, are meant to be suggestive and maybe inspirational and not necessarily to be interpreted literally. But this was kind of giving me pause here. So I decided that I would make this outer ring here I'm going to use a combination of chipped sapphire and faded jeans to give sort of a denim-y look, which is kind of a rough, I'm hoping to achieve something of a texture in it, so we'll see how that works out. And these dots will be in a combination of tumbled glass and broken china. So, and I'm going to use this stencil for that. And where there's kind of the yellow texture there, I'm going to use this stencil and a combination of mustard seed and fossilized amber. And as they crisscross, there should be some interesting greens coming out of this. And even where the lighter blues intersect with the darker blue, there should be some interest. So I'm going to do it in this order. First thing I'm going to do is use my bowls to draw the circles. I'll draw the outer circle. I'm going to use my trusty, I'm thinking that's about even there, and I'm not going to get too upset if it isn't. I'm doing a light pencil line using my trusty silver FTLOPP, for the love of pretty paper, pencil that I got for completing all the challenges in the International Scrapbooking Day event at For the Love of Pretty Paper in 2019. I did not complete them this year, so I need to do more. I love the challenges there. I'm going to put this bowl inside, and I'm, again, not going to worry a whole lot about the spacing. I believe that my oxide inks will hide the pencil marks. That's just going to kind of give me an outline for my brushing of ink. But before I brush that dark center area, I want to do the lighter blue circles. And as in here, there's some up over in this corner, and then there's quite a lot over here. I may not do that exactly the same way because I have a, there's my yellow one for the yellow later. And I'm going to use this is a blue brush, but I'm going to use that for the lighter blue. And I'm going to use my purple brush for the darker blues. It kind of give me an indigo vibe there. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is the tumbled glass up here, and that's going to be the base color. And I'm just going to do those three, and then I'm going to go back and kind of offset that a little bit and get some of the darker color, the broken china in there. So that kind of gives me a little bit of dimension with those. Okay, so I'm going to put this way and do just these that are kind of bordering that circle and outside it. So all of these, but none of these others. So go back to this. And what I'm hoping for is that the dots that do overlap are still somewhat visible even when I overlay with the darker colors. Okay, I think those are all the ones that overlay. And I'm gonna kind of do this. I'll offset it a bit and do this broken china to give it some dimension, and it's a little confusing to the eye, but it adds interest, I find, if you kind of do your highlighting in a different place, so that you're trying to figure out where the light's coming from. I'm breaking the rule of always imagine where your light source is and then do your shadowing and highlighting. So, okay, I like the way they came out, and I like the shadowing and so forth. Okay, so let's put away those blues. Now, before I do I'm going to do the yellow last, even though actually, let's not do the yellow last. Let's do the yellow, no, I'm going to do the yellow last because I really want to see what it looks like over these blues. I'm going to take the faded jeans and kind of start, and it's going to be very, as you can see, I'm not using a stencil or anything that guides this. This is just really meant to be very kind of rough edged, and my main thing I'm trying to do is cover the pencil marks, and that'll be easier with the next color, but it's just meant to be sort of a whirlwind look. Wind being the operative word because it's a sailing page. And I may have to do some erasing. I'm seeing this here. Or I may just go with it and go back over it with an ink pen or a marker. I have distress markers in these colors, and I could pick one, maybe pick one of the lighter blues like the broken china and go back over, because it's really not covering, at least this layer is not covering that pencil mark. Okay, sorry that you're having to go through all of this, because I will not be going in and speeding this up, because as I discover things and figure them out, okay, for example, I can get a darker layer of color by scooching this collar up a little higher. So let me do that and see if running that over the pencil. And what I want to do is really iron out, kind of brush out these dotty looking things. I want the only dots on the page to be the ones I put on there. So I may not want that scooched up as much. So that's the kind of thing that I discover as I do things, and that's I've had a lot of feedback that it's helpful for others to see A, that I don't know what I'm doing when I start anything, and B, the adjustments that I make as I, inevitably make mistakes and okay. I'm going to stop that and go with the chipped sapphire. And I'm going to try to have a light hand with that because it is quite a lot darker. It's very similar shade. And that's kind of what I wanted, as are the tumbled glass and broken china, just a little bit more intense on the broken china. Okay, and I'll have to see how much of that pencil mark shows after I put the if I say one negative thing about these blending brushes, it's that the bristles I like the bristles better than others that I've used, but they do occasionally get out on your layout, but really, you know, how difficult is it to do that and get rid of them? Okay, so I've done that. Now, and like I said, I'll see when I put the photo cluster on. Oh, you know what? I used the blue brush instead of the purple one. That's okay. Now I'm going to go with the mustard seed, and I'm going to take this texture and kind of run it all over. I'm going to run it off the page here. In places. And then I'm interested to see what it's going to look like there. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm going to run it over here just a little, kind of in the area of the circles, and maybe down here more kind of encroaching on this center part. And I'll go back and I'll have the stencil in a completely different place when I use the other color, the darker kind of color. Okay, I like that in there. And I'm gonna do kind of a lot right in here. And that's turning those blue circles, you know, it's adding some green texture to them. Now, if I had used texture paste, a yellow tinted texture paste on this, the yellow would have been opaque enough to kind of just cover over, and you'd see the yellow. In this case, it almost looks like a background color. So now I'm switching from mustard seed to fossilized amber, and I'm going to set the stencil a little different way and kind of just tap it on. That's not as much differentiation as I'd hoped, and I'll let this kind of bleed down into the field here. It's actually looking a lot like the same color. There's not as much differentiation as I had expected. Let's do this. Now let sun go there. Okay, let me see. Now, I guess the real test, is to put the photo cluster on it and kind of see. Okay, these Studio Calico stars are about the same color as those circles, and the sky is about the same color as the big circle. And the yellow has no relationship to anything in the photos other than maybe I'm gonna kind of brush and smooth kind of the edges here to blend them in to the background a little bit more. I think that might help the overall composition. So it's the wood tone on the background there is close enough to the yellow. I like it, but you know what I'm gonna do? To make it a little more, give it a little more wood tone, I'm gonna pull out my trusty gathered twigs and just do a little bit of low lighting, if you will. And I'm gonna use my yellow brush because I can always wipe off and kind of down close to the blue. I'll give it more of a do the low lighting there. You could call it shadowing if I were placing it more carefully. Using the yellow brush helped it not be too brown, although I'm going to go ahead and kind of ink the edges with the brown just to get the kind of the stark white look. Although the sail is white in the photo, so I don't want to completely eliminate the white, but it doesn't hurt to just, oops, that hopefully that'll be under the photo. I didn't want any little brush marks. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I will put some foam, let me get these out of the way here. I need to cut a piece of foam and put it down. Let's see, is that the right length? I should have put the foam on the back before I put the Nuvo drops on, but that didn't happen. So I'm actually gonna have to put the foam down on the page first. Let's see if that, did I cut that one too big? Yeah, that'll work. That will work. Okay, so that can go there. And I don't have a lot to erase. A little bit here, and I can do that with, I have a gum eraser. I don't have it here at the table. It's with my art supplies, and I'll get that out and okay, is that even? Let me get this kind of press down like that and try not to touch the Nuvo drops. I added that kind of pink, strawberry colored background to the journaling to kind of help it pop. I added these tropical leaves. They're vellum stickers, clear stickers, some palm tree wood veneer, and a tropical leaf, a butterfly fussy cut from a Vicky Boutin paper. As I said, these are Studio Calico stars from way back, and they alternate between kind of a grid pattern on blue and maps, and I love them, especially for travel photos. So I think I'm going to call this one done. It's a bit of a departure from this, but I think I've got the basic idea, and I do like the inked edges to make it look a little more distressed, if you will. And I like that the circles have taken on the bluer color when they intersect with the blue, and the yellow has kind of turned them green. So I think we've got a nice mix in there. So thank you for watching. Be sure to comment if you're already a subscriber, and subscribe if you're not. And I will keep close tabs on every notification I get on this layout and the other 3 that we do this month. And I'll put it all in a hopper, and I'll announce the winner at the end of the month. And I'll tell you in future Mixed Media Frenzy videos. So also be sure and check out all the other videos that are linked in my video description. And I'll see you next week. Bye.